We're here today in the museum run by the Tustin Area Historical Society, and we're here to interview Cherrill Cady, a longtime Tustin resident who has a lot to tell us about the early days of Tustin and her involvement. My name's Ivan Bishop, and our camera person is Steve Sauer, who will also be throwing in some questions every now and then. So just to get started, Cherrill, I'd like to ask you what decisions brought you to Tustin and about when did that happen?
Well, that happened in about 1978. My husband and I were living in Torrance at the time and looking for a home to purchase, and I always loved Orange County because I grew up in Garden Grove. So we looked here in Tustin, found a home, and purchased that home. And so I've been here since 1971.
1971, that's quite a while ago. You've been here, what, 40
plus years?
40 plus years.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about those early days in Tustin. You were a full-time mom?
Yes, I was a full-time mom when we moved here. I had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I got very active in PTO with the children, Little League, Girl Scouts, all of the above. And then in 1978, my first husband passed away. He was on the Red Hill Volunteer Fire Department also. And he passed away, and so I needed to go back to work. And so then I went back to work, and I went to work for a dentist. He was very lenient, and I was able to do my activities and be with my children.
Well, that's very
So
good.
it worked out real well for me.
Schedule.
Yes.
Great. Because you've been very involved in other activities besides your career. Now, how long were you with the dentist?
I was with the dentist for 24 years.
Wow.
So I was his office manager, and it was fun because I even see now people that I watch the kids grow up from the office. Yeah, well, I had my career. I was still coordinating council president here in Tustin, did about every office on every PTO that my kids attended. So, and I got involved with the police department so that I could watch what my kids were doing in this town since I was a single mom.
But that didn't end your career, right?
Oh, no, I'm still working. Have been in real estate now since 2000. I work for Coldwell Banker, Platinum Properties. They're based in Irvine, but I still do Tustin and North Tustin areas.
Right.
I do all over Orange County, but mainly I specialize in this area.
Commercial or residential? Or
Residential.
both? Residential.
Yeah, I don't do commercial. Do leases.
Coldwell Banker's kind of known for both.
Yes, they are. And there's certain, you specialize in certain fields because it's a little more difficult to do commercial than it is doing single family.
Well, we understand that you've been very involved in the community. Why don't you tell us when you transitioned from doing parenting type involvement to bigger and better things?
Well,
Not necessarily better, but bigger.
that bigger. Well, in 1978, the city approached me and asked if we could maybe put together new Tiller Days. At that time, we had a carnival at Lawrence Square, and there was a parade that the Jaycees put on. So I talked to them, wanted to know what they wanted, called a few of my friends to see if they would be willing to do it. I was coordinating council president, so they were involved in it and decided to help. We ended up the first year in 1978 with 10 booths, a dunk tank, and a train, and then they had an art display over at the community center. From there, we grew. We were at Pepper Tree Park, and we outgrew Pepper Tree Park, and we wanted to go to evenings. So then we moved to Columbus Tustin. We had to have electricity. Lighting. I worked real close with Bill Teeter at that time, who was with the school district. And he helped me. We went to the city and got $6,000 to put up a power pole. And they fought me on that. But we did get the power pole, and we got electricity, and we have now revolved into what we have now.
Good. And what's your involvement now with?
I'm still very active. 30 years ago, they asked if I would take over the parade. And so I sat down and figured out how to do a parade and who to call. And so I've been doing the parade now for 30 years. So Tiller Days for 40, I am still very involved and still active in it. And so it keeps me very busy.
There's a committee, I guess.
Yes. It's a whole different committee and different feeling now, because when I did it alone. I got a stipend from the city, but everybody was a volunteer. The city was not involved. We also didn't have to have the police that we have today.
But the city is involved now.
The city is very involved now. And a lot of their staff does a lot of it. We don't have the volunteers that we used to have. Our millenniums don't have time to volunteer like we did.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have more police because of our status these days. And so it's evolved.
Well, there's alcohol now.
Oh, yeah.
It probably wasn't at the beginning.
No, there was no alcohol at the beginning. I had Wild West shows. I had skydivers come
Wow.
in, and they came down with our banner of the city of Tustin.
That's
I
great.
had a camel that I rode, and we've had elephants.
Elephants?
I had an elephant.
Where'd you get the elephant?
I can't remember, but I found this animal farm and everything, and they gave elephant rides and camel rides. So we brought them out.
How'd you get the elephant here?
They ship them. They bring them in. And petting zoos. We have had all kinds of interesting and different things.
Was that when you were at Pepper Tree or after?
That was after. That was when we were at CT.
CT.
We didn't have a carnival. But then as we grew and the city took over, we had to generate money. Because I believe it was in 1990 or 91 that the budget cuts. And so the city was going through a budget crisis. There just wasn't the money. So we brought in a carnival. And that's where the carnival came in and where it comes in today.
And it's turned into a very big deal.
Yeah, it's a very big
Some of the
deal.
rides this year were just incredible.
Yeah, this was a brand new carnival company this year. And they were outstanding.
Yeah.
And they were clean. And what I love about our Tiller Days, if you go to some of the other carnivals, we have, the way it is enclosed, you can let your kids run and be out there and not worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough police protection. It's still a small town community affair.
Very well fenced in.
Yes.
Hard for,
There's only one way in and out.
yeah,
And so they watch that.
pretty safe.
Uh-huh.
for Small.
Very safe. So
That's great.
if you go to Garden Grove or some of the other communities, I wouldn't want my kids go on those rides. I don't care how old.
And they had rides geared for little kids as well as
Yes, they do.
teenagers.
Uh-huh.
Teenagers want excitement
And the bigger
and
rides.
risk.
We kind of try to segregate that so that.
I
and it-
noticed they were in different areas.
Yeah, and there's the sidewalk, and we don't let any alcohol into the carnival area. It all has to stay in the other side of the field.
And a lot of charities are now involved. in-
Tiller Days is almost, we don't really make money as a committee. It is mainly for the nonprofits. All the food booths are nonprofit, so that they can make money. The beer sales are the 3 service clubs. So we try to give a venue for people, the nonprofits, service groups, all that to make money.
And the Brewfest is new.
Yes,
That's been involved in the American Legion.
uh-huh.
as you
So
say,
that's new.
nonprofits.
Yeah,
It's
and
a good
people
way-
love that.
a Good way for the nonprofits to make some money.
Yes, it is, and it's hard work. I'm there from Friday, well, I'm actually there Thursday for the kickoff party, and then I'm there Friday by 8, and I go home at about 10 or 11.
Wow.
I'm up at 4 for the parade. I do the parade, all the awards, then I'm there until about 10 Saturday night, and then I show up
How
about
many
10.
How many trophies do you hand out?
We hand out a lot. This year, we had 11 bands.
That's a
And-
lot.
Yeah, well, last year we had 14. I won't do 14 again. But we had 11, and so we give out the band, we give out all the civic awards. We have 2 sets of judges. We're one of the last parades that has the SVOCA judges. They are the band judges, and the bands get points to go on to the Rose Parade. So they come to our parade because they get points.
Wow.
And then we have another group of judges that just judge the civic awards.
So to get into the Rose Parade, you need so many
Yeah,
points.
you have to have so many points for so many parades.
So that's why the bands are so good.
Uh-huh.
In the Rose Parade, they've been screened through.
They are screened through
process.
all the different parades, and that's
Great.
all over the nation
Wow.
that come.
That's good. Well, I understand that you've also been involved in a lot of other things, particularly I've heard about Miss Tustin. Tell us about that.
Miss Tustin was actually started as a local in 1957. Bill Moses did the parade, did that, and then it was taken over by the JCs, and then it was taken over by the Women of Chamber. In 1993, because of insurance problems, they had to disband the Miss Tustin. So people came to myself and my daughter and asked, how come we don't have a Miss Tustin? So I did 2 years research with the Miss California organization to see what they were about, what everything was. My daughter and I were guests at the Miss California to see. So I came back to town and talked to the city council, and I talked to some of my friends. And
Your friends again.
my friends are, bless them, they have always come to my rescue
You're welcome.
here in Tustin. And so we got together and we put together the first Miss Tustin. We gave scholarship money. We had it at St. Jean's Catholic. That was the only auditorium. And then when Beckman was built and we had that auditorium, we went there. I did that until 2 years ago when I retired from that. And I'm still on the chili cook-off also,
Wow.
by the way.
Wow.
I started on that when it began.
That's turned into a very big deal.
Yes, when we did it, there were a few booths, and we all had squirt guns with tequila. And we would go around and squirt everybody with tequila. So that's evolved along too.
Oh, wow.
So,
We get, what, 35,000 people now?
oh, at least, I would say more than that. You can't walk
I've
down
heard
the center.
I've heard 40.
Yeah. But if you go, you can't, once they're all there, you can't move down the center of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's always big name entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Willie Nelson fan and the
He-
Willie Nelson tribute band.
Yeah, I am too.
One of
He's,
my favorites.
and you know what? He's really good.
Yes.
And so,
That's another way for the
Nonprofits.
nonprofits to make money.
yes,
Between those two events.
we're so
Several days
fortunate.
in the-
We're fortunate in Tustin because we give events for nonprofits to make money. Plus, we have a lot of freebies. We have the concerts in the park. We have the parade. We have Tiller Days, which is free. That people can come out and enjoy themselves.
It's rare, I think.
It is rare. And we're still spread out and big, but we're a close-knit family. And you'll find that most of the same ones volunteer for everything.
Yeah. It has a small town feeling.
Yeah.
I've moved from Irvine here 4 or 5 years ago. The difference is tremendous.
Yes.
Feeling like you're just a number to feeling like you're connected. It's just great
Yeah, it
living
is.
in Tustin.
So my daughter and I have to say my kids from the time I started have volunteered also. And my grandkids. They still get up at 4 o'clock with me and go to the parade and help stage and get it all done.
Well, you're fortunate your kids stayed here.
Yes, well, I just lost my son. He went to Utah.
Oh.
But my oldest son. But anyway, the rest of the family are all here.
How many grandkids?
I have 3 grandkids. Yes, I have 127, 123, and then a 16-year-old girl.
Wow.
I have a son that teaches at Nelson here in town, and my daughter is a special aids teacher at Ladera. so they're very active also.
Well, tell us a little bit about your selection as Woman of the Year. When did that happen?
That happened in 1980, and then we didn't know we were selected. Bill Moses pretty much did it, and nobody knew who you were running against.
Oh, really?
No.
It's changed a lot.
Oh, it's changed a lot. So all of a sudden, I get this call that I'm to go to this dinner at the Marine base, what was it, the quarters there, I forget. And so I go, I can't go. I have share tickets at the Hollywood Bowl. And they're going, no, you have to go.
Kind of a clue that
It was, well, I didn't know. I really didn't have a clue because it isn't like it is today. And so my kids got to go to share, and I went to the dinner. And so,
Let's take a break.
Yeah, we can wait while.
Cheryl, you mentioned
Okay.
that things have really changed a lot with the format of Man and Woman of the Year. Tell us a little bit about the change.
Well,
Because you
when-
didn't even know.
no, I had no idea in 1980. We were still at that point we weren't part of the chamber. We were independent group, but they did our awards dinner and all that with the Chamber of Commerce when they did their Business of the Year awards and all that. So that's, of course, changed. When I got it, Al Peterson was the Man of the Year, and myself, and we had no idea. And we, as I said, we had no idea who was nominated. Nobody else was introduced. So we were just brought up and introduced as Man and Woman of the Year, told about us, and we got plaques. And so, but it's an honor. And
Certainly.
for everybody that gets it, now it's even an honor when they're nominated, because it shows how much and what they've done for the city of Tustin, service-wise and just giving up their time.
Yeah, their story gets told even if they don't win.
Yes, it does, and I think that's super. We have to, now it's all submitted in writing. You have to have a sponsor. You can't just submit a name. It has to be done by a group or an organization or a former man or woman of the year.
Either a charity or a former man.
Uh-huh. That's the
With
only
the
way that
write-
you can.
write-up.
Yeah.
And then the voting is done by the people who have won in the past.
Yes. Former men and women of the year are the ones that we have a selection committee. And so we select all of those. And if you go to the library, you'll see all the tavers. At the library
Yes.
courtyard
Mhm.
are all the men and women of the year's tavers that are there, which we
Yeah,
think is
I
very
looked
nice.
at those. It's quite nicely.
And it's quite impressive with some of the names that are there.
Mhm. That's great.
And we're losing more and more of our men and women of the year, but we're bringing new ones on, so that is good.
Good. Well, that's an event every year, a big.
Yes,
yeah,
and now it's our own event, and the men and women get 1 year off, and they're selected, they kind of learn the next year, and then the following year they put it on. And
Which is quite an effort.
it's quite an effort, but hey, they're
It's like
volunteers.
if you
and-
win, you lose.
That's exactly right, but you only have to do it 1 year.
Yeah.
Then you get to enjoy the rest of the time, but we all help.
Well, it's very obvious to Steve and I, in listening to your story, that you certainly deserve that.
Thank you.
In fact, there ought to be a provision where you can do it again, because you've done so much since 1980. It's remarkable. They need to have a new provision that you
Yeah, I
Can do it
keep
again.
on, keep on going
spread the
and
word around that they need to allow people to be named.
be named again.
Because you
Yeah.
certainly deserve it.
Thank you. That,
Have I left out anything? We've talked about the cook-off and the Tiller Days and
Miss
Tustin
Tustin
Woman of the
and
Year.
all that, and I.
What's the biggest thing I left out?
Well, this year, I don't know if you know, and if we'd done it at the house, you could have seen them. I was given an awful lot of awards, which was very, very nice for my 40 years in doing Tiller Days and the parade. I got a beautiful proclamation from the city of Tustin, from Todd Spitzer. Mimi Walters came to Tiller Days to give me an award. And then I got another award from the council. So I have
Was that called a gem of
yes, the Gem of Tustin.
Tustin?
In my room, I have a lot of proclamations and I have a lot of awards, and so
Sure,
that's in my office area.
That's great.
Yeah, but I'm very proud of them. And a
should be.
couple years ago, when I moved, I gave all the Tiller Day pictures from back when I started it to the Historical Society. So I think they've done them all digitally
great.
and turned those all in.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I've done, and I keep on doing.
Well, you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
And remember to try to get the word circulated that they need to let people
Have a
run
second
again.
try it.
Because you certainly deserve it. Well, we have really enjoyed our chat today, and thank you very much. And when this gets on YouTube, you can tell your friends and families. You have a lot of friends.
I have a lot of friends.
So you can tell them, give them the instructions, and they can watch it.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. I
Thank you
enjoyed
very
doing
much.
it.